Yeah.
ATP, what to do with your boy Claymore Rain, back at you with another one. Shout out to all my subscribers. If this is your first time tapping into content, I'm gonna invite you to go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit your bell icons as well, so you all getting alerts when all this content is dropping. So look, we're here. Beterbiev Bivol, Saturday, 48 hours away. Tomorrow will be the weigh-ins, and I wanted to go ahead and put my 2 cents in and finally give a prediction of where I think this fight is going to go. First thing I want to say is at the end of the day, we have to recognize that this is probably going to be one of the most, I'm expecting it to be one of the most competitive fights that I've seen in the longest time. Therefore, of course, going right inside of that category, FOTY, Fight of the Year candidate. I think this is definitely gonna check the boxes to be in that conversation. At least that's what we're hoping for, right? And what would be the reasons this wouldn't be Fight of the Year, or what could make this fight go wrong? Well, I think the shining, glowing pink elephant in the room is we got an age issue, Houston. We have Beterbiev coming in here, about 38, 39 years old, towards the end of his I don't want to say towards the end of his career, because we don't know what his plans are, but we'll say that as far as age is concerned, he's on the other side of his prime years. Coming off an injury, of course. What kind of Beterbiev do we want to see in this ring? What are we expecting to see in this ring? I mean, obviously, what's on the surface level is that he's a power puncher. 100% knockout ratio is something you can't look away from. To discount that or to dismiss that as probably the biggest attribute that he brings into the ring would be just dishonest, right? But he's dealing with a boxer. He's dealing with a boxer in Dmitry Bivol, who understands how to control the distance, who understands the sweet science of boxing, and at the same time carries a little bit of punching power as well when he wants to, but he's not known for doing it. I can't remember what the ratio was, but I feel like it was like 20 or 30% of his shots was like power shots, or maybe something a little less than that, right? Because he's generally outscoring you. He's taking his time and he's staying out of the danger zone. And Artur Beterbiev is going to need some athleticism in this fight to be able to go ahead and neutralize that, to cut that ring off, to slow Bivol down to a place to where he's able to go ahead and initiate and implement what he brings to the table. Is Beterbiev going to be able to do that? I think a lot of people in this fight may be sleeping on Beterbiev's boxing IQ. This guy has a pretty well-decorated amateur career. He's trained, and he is also very familiar with Bivol because they have over 100 rounds of sparring that they've done with each other. So the question is Beterbiev boxing going to be enough to cut that ring off? I'm expecting him to slow down Bivol, probably attack that body aggressively. I'd expect him to do that and hopefully slow this guy down enough to where he can actually implement a very effective offense. Now, Beterbiev, until Bivol fought Canelo Alvarez about 2 years ago or something like that. I can't remember, 2-3 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? I don't know. I don't have the exact dates in front of me. I'm just kind of winging it. But until that fight, how many people were really looking at Bivol or acknowledging Bivol for the talent that he really was, right? I mean, always a talented light heavyweight, but Beterbiev was pretty much the phenom in the division. 100% knockout ratio. How could you look away from him, right? Doing the work, but also Beterbiev suffered before and has been sat on his pockets before, has been in fights that he was kind of losing almost until he knocked the guy out. So he's been outboxed to a degree before. But listen, man, this fighter to me in Beterbiev has been an evolving fighter. And sometimes when you have all those knockouts, it's hard for those fighters to develop properly in the boxing space because they don't really have to box that much. They're knocking everybody out, right? And you've seen some fighters suffer from that. You've seen Edgar Berlanga kind of stunt his growth in boxing by getting all that early success. We've seen other fighters such as Deontay Wilder completely have a stunted growth in his development as a fighter, being that he was able to knock everybody out with that right hand. The disciplined, committed fighter develops. He develops in sparring. He develops in the gym. He develops because he's committed to his sport. It's not just the fights for those fighters, right? But a lot of fighters need that activity in order to develop. And I think, don't get me wrong, all fighters need activity to develop, but some guys, if they're not in that ring, they digress. I don't see and haven't seen Beterbiev digress inside that ring mentally, but physically, we've seen him deal with some injuries before. But outside of that, I'm thinking this is an evolved Beterbiev, a Beterbiev who also has over 100 rounds to bring to the ring with him as far as experience and as far as understanding who his opponent is. So I'm looking to see Beterbiev's boxing acumen step up for us to see him do something that we haven't really seen him do before. His last fight against Caleb Smith, he showed out. He showed out and showed boxing because Caleb Smith, who came in a bigger fighter, longer reach, was trying to establish that distance, and Beterbiev did such a great job of getting inside, entering the void, winning those exchanges, and ultimately outboxed Caleb Smith, and to the point he had an opportunity to stop Caleb Smith. Bivol, on the other hand, who's been known as the boxer, in his last fight against I can't remember what his first name is, but the last name Zenod, he actually stepped to Zenod, right? Smothered the power, overpowered him, overwhelmed him, and got a stoppage, one of his first stoppages in I don't know how many years, but showed that the power is still there. And I think a lot of people may sleep on the ability for Bivol to create power, to create opportunities. Can Bivol hurt Beterbiev? That'll probably be what we'll be looking to see. Both these fighters are going to have to leave their comfort zone to a degree, because this fight, both of them are bringing that cerebral energy in there, and they're both going to have to be ready to do whatever it takes to win this fight. Whether it is Bivol being ready to fight Artur Beterbiev, or Beterbiev being ready to box Dmitry Bivol. Now, who do I have predicting to move forward and win this fight? Drum roll, please. Guys, I'm going to tell you the truth. It's been hard and difficult, but I am going to lean, drum roll, I'm going to lean towards Beterbiev. I think he's more tried true in the ring. I think his ability to box is going to get showcased in this fight. I think he's a better boxer than most of these fans really understand. I mean, real boxing fans know that Beterbiev brings a pedigree into the ring, but I think a lot of fans are going to be surprised at how well he does box. And I think his ability to make Bivol pay, I think the consequences are way higher with Beterbiev, who will show that he can box, but ultimately doesn't have to show the world, but will show the world that Bivol could be hurt. Does Bivol have the ability to hurt Beterbiev? We've seen Beterbiev get sat in his pockets, but I've never actually seen him quite hurt per se, right? Not in the space where he couldn't recover. You know what I mean? He's been tested more. He's had to overcome adversity. He's dealt with being down on the rounds before, and he's come out on top. Bivol's going to have to stay perfect and be the best Bivol for 12 rounds, in my opinion. And the question is, will he be able to? Now, I don't have this with a huge gap, but I do lean towards Beterbiev. I am going to give it a 60-40 Beterbiev as far as who I think is going to win this fight. Probably a late round stoppage. I could see that happening. I could definitely see Bivol sitting on his pockets a couple times in this fight, and I could even see Beterbiev get knocked on his backside in his fight as well. But I don't think that determination is going to get dissuaded. I think he's going to find that opportunity. He's going to connect with that shot. He's going to hurt Bivol, and at that point it'll be a downhill battle. That's how I see it happening, but without a doubt, if Dmitry Bivol wins this fight, I won't be surprised. I know it's going to be a competitive fight. Dmitry Bivol seems to be taking it very seriously. When you look at the press conference, both these guys are doing everything in their power to win this fight, and none of them are sleeping on each other. They both understand the level of competition that's standing in front of them. Turkey Al-Sheikh, we have to give him all the respect in the world for putting this fight together. I doubt we see this fight happen without his influence in it. And this is what we're talking about, the best fight and the best in boxing. Let's hope that's what we see Saturday night. Let's hope neither one of these guys are beyond their prime. Let's hope Beterbiev comes in there healthy and able to translate that health into a great boxing match. And let's hope Bivol can do the same. I saw Beterbiev in his media workouts. This guy's doing these wrist training, push-ups, hopping up on he's strong as an ox. You can see that he holds himself to a high standard, and that I believe if he's in this fight, that he's physically ready to do this fight, and he's not cutting any corners. So he has lived a clean lifestyle, a Muslim, no drinking, eating properly, working out, committing to his passion and his sport. And Bivol probably doing the same thing, right? Committed, not doing the wrong things, doing all the right things. So we got two fighters who have every reason to win and have all the tools in their bag to win with. The question is, whose game plan will be the dominant game plan in the ring that night? And who's willing to leave their comfort zone and be somewhere else if they have to be there, right? Keeping in mind, of course, that Artur Beterbiev doesn't want to leave who he is, which is a strong puncher, somebody who can stop Bivol. And Dmitry doesn't want to leave who he is, but they may have to be forced to leave those comfort zones real quick in order to reel back in the fight and bring that fight to where they ultimately want it. And I think Dimitri Bivol ultimately wants the boxing match. He wants to keep this a boxing match. Artur Beterbiev can box, but I think he's going to be boxing to get this into a fight. And Dimitri Bivol is either going to participate in that fight and is going to have to in order to convince Artur Beterbiev to go back into box mode, and vice versa for Artur Beterbiev, right? So perfect fight. Styles make fights, and stylistically, this, like I said, is a fight that could be potentially FOTY, Fight of the Year candidate. I'm looking forward to do it. I've been right so far this year, calling the best fights of the year. So I'm hoping that this one is it. You guys check us out. I'll be up there with Blue Blood on Saturday. We'll be calling the whole entire card, and enjoying the day. I'll be there kicking it, calling the fights. Hope to see you guys there. Salute to all my subscribers again. If this is your first time tapping the content, I've already said it. I'll say it again. Subscribe, guys. Hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching this video, for the love of God, let's get a like. Hit it up for the algorithm. Let's get this video rotating. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. Hit your bell icon so you're getting alerts when all this content is dropping. And until the next episode, at this point, you out.